But how about you? What have you been up to? It's been a while. I think everyone agrees it's been like a little ridiculous how long it's been.
Hey, I've been busy.
Doing what?
Writing, designing, storyboarding.
Meta. When a creative work is aware of itself, or it's written in a way to make it aware of itself. Other words to easily explain it are extremely self-aware, self-referential, and self-reflective. And how they did it in the Invincible Season 2 trailer is exactly the way you should do it. Invincible is one of the best shows I have ever seen, especially with superhero stuff, and I have become all Marveled out, I've become DC'd out, but there's something special about like these independent superhero genre, like the anime ones, My Hero Academia, oh my god. Honestly, it makes the MCU pale in comparison. If you've not watched Invincible, please do your favor and watch it. Trust me, it is worth the time. Even if you're not someone who likes cartoons, if you can overcome that prejudice just for a while and get into the story of it, you'll find yourself forgetting that it's a cartoon. But I was very impressed when they released the teaser. There wasn't any bombastic music, they didn't give anything away, and they didn't have to, because the show stands all on its own, that all people want to know is if it's coming back and when. It is so confident of a show in its production and its fan base that people just want to know that it's coming back. Just seeing Mark on screen, even though this is a teaser, made people go crazy. I know it made me go crazy the first time I saw it. And it was cute because of the use of self-referencing. When he talks about the storyboarding and what everyone's been up to, it's a kind of way to talk to the fans through the characters, which I think is really cool.
Storyboarding, voice acting, key posing, in-betweening, cleaning up, color slapping, comping the whole thing and all that for, you know, roughly thousands of shots, so it's kind of a lot.
Well then, that being said, there's a time and a place for breaking the fourth wall. So many shows do this, like Rick and Morty, She-Hulk, and one of the greatest atrocities known to mankind, Velma. And usually, they don't work. A lot of the modern shows that employ this don't work. Whether they're addressing the audience or being self-referential within the group in universe with the other characters, it seems to only work if the characters are established and relatable. Deadpool did this expertly.
You're probably thinking, my boyfriend said this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the red suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. Oh. I'm touching myself tonight.
Even when I didn't even know who Deadpool was or that he was even an anti-hero or a superpowered person, I was immediately thrown into his character. And while I didn't have any relatability to the character beforehand, not knowing who he was, I was still sold because that's how they started it off, but in a way that was comical and that felt real. It didn't feel like it was trying to be something. It felt like this was the character. And he's played by Ryan Reynolds, and if you see Ryan Reynolds, how he acts in real life or how he seems to act in real life, it seems to be his personality. So it's not like he's putting on. Ryan Reynolds is naturally quirky and funny. People like Will Ferrell and Will Smith, they kind of have that natural personality, so it's not like they need to go very far in terms of acting to sell it. House of Cards was another show that did this, and it was a good way of allowing people to see things from the person's perspective. As the character proves to be a well-developed character and likable, whether they're a villain or a hero, you want to know what they're going to say. The characters are either evil or good, and on the spectrums of evil or good, they're captivating because of how well structured they are. But in shows like She-Hulk and Velma, the characters are irritating, and they're self-centered, not in the way of trying to get more power or at least seeing them trying to achieve something. They're just literally existing in life, doing nothing, offering nothing to society, looking down on everything and everyone around them, but in a very irritating, infantile sort of way. And the more you get to know these types of characters, is the more you realize you don't want to. And so the fourth wall breaks with them just seem as though it's pointless. Because why would we want to hear what a character has to say when the character is beyond insufferable? Ryan Reynolds' character still had a story arc, but his character was actually entertaining and very likable. Shows like The Office and What We Do in the Shadows also accomplished this by allowing some kind of invisible camera crew to follow them around. It fit the show because they are actually legitimately funny and entertaining and very awkward, but in the way that keeps you wanting more. There's some comedy that is on the nose and some that is not, but what seems to really sell a comedy is the timing and the execution, and that's where shows like Velma and She-Hulk seem to fail. Either their execution is really bad because they don't get comedic timing or comedy at all, or what they thought was supposed to be comedy is actually them being a little bit too serious in their delivery. Like one of these scenes from She-Hulk that the YouTuber Film Rebel actually did a really good edit of.
Here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. Bullshit! When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me. So I'm clearly nailing it at all of these things. When am I ever going to use this as a lawyer?
Jen, when you have powers like this, it's like putting a target on your back and the backs of all the people you care about.
Oh, cool. Yet another way my life is ruined. Because I'm better than you? Pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger.
Go ahead, piss me off.
Because I do it infinitely more than you.
If you're probably wondering and you've never watched the show before, I'll let you in on a secret. That woman is the main character. Is she giving you main character energy? I think not. And so with this infantile, insecure, overly egotistical when there's no need for her to be because she hasn't really earned anything to make her that egotistical, she's not even that good of a lawyer, her character stays the exact same throughout the entire show. It makes you wonder, why are we even following this character? She's boring. She's insufferable. It turns people off. She's super annoying. She's a side character of a side character at best. And you had the same situation with 2022/2023's Velma spin-off TV show, yet another one of them. And I think this is the worst one to date. It almost feels as though the people who are creating these shows are projecting. And when you're no longer making art that can be open to interpretation, and there's way too much of yourself in there to the point where all the problems that you have about humanity are just bleeding out and hemorrhaging through the characters, and so much so that you don't even find the need to take the time and passionately write it or say it in a way that the regular main characters would say it, that's when it becomes a little problem. It's no longer edgy, it's just tasteless. And what a lot of people would call preachy. Using meta jokes or using the fourth wall break to be preachy or to be hateful is not the right way to use it. And I don't know why shows have turned into that. But the examples of Deadpool and Invincible are the good ways that you use it. It doesn't always need to be used, but if it is, and you have to do so at the expense of the audience, make sure all audience perceptions are a part of it, not just one. She-Hulk did an amazing job at making women look as though they are just horrible creatures, which they can be sometimes. But for someone we're trying to be rooting for, and who all women are supposed to look up to and try to aspire to be, this kind of behavior and character who was constantly talking to us as the audience didn't do much to inspire that. And so in this case, the fourth wall being broken really needed to be mended, because the character was already a dick within the universe without her dickery needing to come through the fourth wall and stare us in the face. It was already doing that. I understand why a lot of people don't like fourth wall breaks, also because it ruins the immersion. With House of Cards, when we're following the main character for so long, and then the wife takes over, and then she becomes a new main character when she was not even a part of this for the longest while, it was very jarring and really put me off to the show. Even if the main character was still in the show, which was the only reason we were watching him, because it was his journey, if she started talking at the camera too alongside him, it would just feel wrong. And then it would feel as though they're using it as a crutch or some sort of gimmick. That being said, I really appreciate what the Invincible Season 2 trailer did. It's a very fun and applicable way to do meta. And the other thing that makes it stand out is the fact that it does something different than most of what every other entertainment movie or show is doing when it comes to being meta.
Do you think it's enough? I mean, you want a real ending, right? With plausible plot development? Don't you?
It's okay for shows or movies to not have to be meta, and to just leave us immersed in the world they've created. This worked for Invincible because it also fit the world, but if something like Yellowstone were to come out with a teaser like that, it would not work. It would cheapen the franchise, and honestly, for that kind of show, it would take me out of the immersion. But Invincible is very marketable, and even though it has very serious tones, it does have those lighthearted, quirky ones, which are not overly annoying, but it allows you to get passes like this. Amazon's The Boys also works in this way as well.
It's coming, okay? Hey!
Yeah, I know, but like a specific date would be nice.
Oh, but okay, fine. The world will get more Invincible in late 2023.
All right, okay, I'll take it. Late 2023. Perfect, sure. So 2023, is that like one of your years?
Again, if you've not seen the show Invincible, you're sorely missing out again. There's several videos on the channel that I've made in the past, and you can feel free to check them out if you wish, but it certainly scratches the itch if you're tired of the regular corporate mainstream superhero entertainment that Marvel and DC have become. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.